Hey everyone, Yuri back with you with another episode of Ask Yuri, and today I've got a very simple question, but a little bit of a complicated answer. So here's what it is. Hey Yuri, how do you make your body tap into stored fat and not carbs or muscle for energy? So I'm assuming that this is somebody who wants to burn fat and they want to bypass their body's physiology, the way it works. They want to bypass burning carbs, they don't want to burn muscle, they want to just use fat and that's it. Unfortunately, that's not how it works, okay? As I'm sitting here, my predominant source of fuel are fats. Yeah, that's right. As I'm sitting here, as you're sitting there watching this video, the predominant source of fuel that your body is using is fat. So that would make you think that, well, shouldn't I just sit on my butt all day and I'd be burning fat all day? Well, that's one of the arguments against long duration, low intensity exercise, because it really doesn't have that big of an effect. The key is higher intensity, because at the higher intensities you're burning more calories. But here's where people get confused. When you start to, for instance, from a sitting position, as I start moving my body, as I go for a walk, okay, as I start walking, I'm still predominantly using fat as a fuel. Once I hit, there's a kind of a crossover point, right? Once my maximal intensity, the intensity I'm using is equivalent to about 80% of my VO2 max, right? 80% of my maximum possible aerobic capacity, there's a crossover that happens. And at that point, there's more of the fuel or more of the energy is being fueled by carbohydrates than fat. So the higher the intensity of your workout, the more you're going to be burning carbohydrates than you will fat as a fuel. And this is where people get confused. They think that, well, if I'm burning more carbohydrates, if I'm working out at a high intensity, why would I want to do that? Because then I'm just holding on to fat and that's it. Well, this is not necessarily true, okay? When you work out at a high intensity, there's a couple things that are happening. First of all, you're stimulating your metabolism to a much higher level than you would if you were just to go for a walk. And the benefit of that is that after the workout, there's something known as EPOC, or excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. This is the amount of calories that your body consumes after it's finished working out to bring itself back into a more balanced state. It kind of recovers the oxygen that it couldn't get through the workout because of the high intensity. And through this whole period of time, it's burning calories. So your metabolism is slightly raised for several hours, and some studies have shown up to 36 hours after a high intensity workout. That's huge. Okay? So during this time of recovery, again, you might be sitting down, you might be at work, you might be walking, whatever it might be, your body is slightly elevated still in terms of its metabolism, and it's using fat at that point predominantly as a fuel source. But it doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, all we're concerned about are total calories lost. Okay, if you want to lose weight, it's basically this: calories in minus calories out. If you eat more than you expend, you're going to gain weight. If you expend more than you eat, you'll lose weight. 3,500 calories is 1 pound of fat. Okay, so if you work out at a high intensity and you burn, let's say, 2,000 calories, versus working out for a long period of time at a low intensity and you're burning 1,500 calories, even though the sources of fuel during those workouts are different, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, all you're trying to do is burn maximum number of calories. That's all that matters. Okay? It doesn't matter whether they're coming from fat or carbohydrates, because the body's going to sort that out. Right? It's going to do its thing so that it's using fuel from different areas, different, things like, in most cases, fat and carbohydrates, protein very rarely, unless you're in a starved, severely starved state. And that's all that's going to matter, right? So think about it as calories burned, not am I using fats, am I using carbohydrates. The body's going to figure that out, it'll take care of that, okay? So hopefully that's answered the question. I know it's a little bit of a tricky one to think about, but I've put together, I've written several articles on this subject. I'm just trying to think of where they might be. I'm not too sure. Anyways. But if you're looking to burn fat, if you're looking to learn how to work out properly, and if you're just starting out, I highly recommend getting started with my FitterU program. The website is right here, myfitteru.com. And yeah, you'll have me on your headphones as your virtual fitness coach to coach you through your workouts, to educate you as well as, you know, step-by-step coaching from the beginning of your workout to the end over a 12-week process. It's a lot of fun and you'll just have a blast and get great results. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching, thanks for the question, and I will see you in the next episode.